Hello and welcome to another AOC commentary where we see something different all the time unless it's a Hun Arabia war, which it's pretty much standard. So today I have something pretty cool, which is something I've been looking for a long time, and that's a pro level Black Forest matchup 1v1. You don't see games like this a lot, mainly due to the fact it's a very slow map. Every now and then, of course, you get those little strategies where they'll sneak a villager in or they'll attack in feudal, and something like that doesn't happen, or someone doesn't scout properly and finds out there's actually another way into their base. But generally with Black Forest, you get this one gap here, which is the only way into your base. And the best way, and the best thing you can do, is to put a wall straight across here, and then either your opponent's going to have to break it down, or they're going to have to cut through with siege onagers. So at that point, basically you already know that you're safe until Castle Age, period, just because of the fact they're not going to go at it with archers, they're not going to go at it with man-at-arms. Well, I would expect they wouldn't, because that's just going to take for freaking ever, and while it's happening, the person on the other side will be booming their economy and getting to a lot higher level, tech level, which means you'll be in a lot of trouble. And the other thing as well, Siege Onagers, it means they have to get to Imperial nearly post, just because of the fact that Siege Onager upgrade is so expensive and it's only available in Imperial Age. But yeah, so I'm going to introduce the players right now. In green we have Orcus, also known as Chris, and in red we have Viper. And I know you guys are going to be sick of the Viper sooner or later, but until other people start playing other games, different maps, things like that, I'm going to try and bring you as many of these different types as I can. And if Viper's the one playing them, well then Viper's the one we will watch. And they are both playing as the Celts, which is good, because Black Forest is well known for the fact that it has very tight chokes, as we can see here. And Siege Onagers, Siege Rams, things like that, it pretty much allows you to storm your opponent's base a lot more easier. Siege Onagers on this map are invaluable just due to the fact you can cut down trees with them. Of course you can do it with trebuchets as well, and trebuchets won't cut down already cut down trees though, and they kill one at a time, so essentially the Siege Onager is the best way to go when it goes to that. And naturally, being a player who started off playing Black Forest games, well, that's pretty much how everyone gets into it, honestly. Especially if you started on Game Ranger, you'll just be playing a big battle Black Forest maps with like 8 people in it, just going absolutely nuts at like the 50-minute mark. And that's always a good way to start out. And it means there's going to be so many more people out there who's going to just be sitting there reminiscing about games like this. And I'm going to have to talk like this for a long time, just because of the fact it is one of those games where both players boom and then go into a massive fight, which is one of the things I love about this map. The army control is really shown in these maps, just because they're such big armies, there's such big unit compositions of the armies, and you really need to be able to use your army effectively, split it up, especially functions like splitting, I can't remember, staggered line formation, just things like that. You need to be able to do them, because naturally, Siege Onagers, if you're going towards them, you're going to want to be able to split your army so you don't get hit straight away. And with Celts as well. The good thing about Celts is they get a lot of the high-end units. They get Siege Onagers, they get Paladins, they get the Word Raider, which of course isn't an overpowered unit, but it's pretty much great for what its name says. It's great for raiding, so there's not a lot else. And I'm just trying to think about anything else I want to talk about on this. Game of me playing actually yesterday that I put up was received quite well. Thank you to everybody who gave me tips on that. And I actually got a comment from something who was saying, I really don't want to do this to you on your channel, and then saying something that I should have done, or I pronounced something incorrectly. I want to say right now, if you see something like that is just done dodgy, don't be afraid to be that guy. Somebody has to say it, or I'll just keep doing it. If anything, most likely I'm going to thank you for saying it, and naturally, of course, if you just do it as a dog act, I'm going to be like, what do you want? I don't care. But if you do it to genuinely try and help the channel, help me grow as a commentator, as a player, as everything, it'll just generally be accepted. So there's no problem at all. If you see something's just absolute crap, just call me on it. Absolutely call me on it. There's no reason not to. So we see that Chris is going up into the feudal age. Viper's still waiting on it. However, he is about to go up. There we go. Right as I change player, it would. And naturally, we're getting the fast castle, which is the market and the blacksmith. And these two are the most popular, naturally, because you don't have to put the barracks down. And it means in that way you save 175 wood, and it allows you to get those extra town centers up a lot quicker. As we can see as well, by the fact Viper's already on stone, he's going to be going for at least 3 extra town centers. And Chris, I'm looking, where's your stone? Stone there. Doesn't look like he's on stone yet. Viper going up to Castle Age though. Chris already on his way up as well. Only 180 stone there actually. So has he stonewalled or? Is he going to Stonewall? I can't tell. I don't know what unless he built an outpost. I can't even see what he spent that stone on. Well, he's back up to 200. I might have been looking at Viper. I don't even know. I'm confused. If somebody saw what happened there, post it in comments. So, Chris going up with the double town center, naturally going into the double town center. Boom. Viper about to get that, and he's going to be able to probably go up with a little bit more. And naturally, that means he's going to be able to try and outboom. And it seems Chris is still not on stone by the looks, but I can't see it anywhere. It means he's going to get outdone when it comes to villager production, which is not good. He may have got there a bit earlier, but there we go. 1, 2, 3 town centers going out for Viper, so he's going to be on a total of 4. And we're going to have Chris on a total of 3 for now. And I love when the town centers glitch like that. I think that's a town center glitch. And I just tried to scroll in using my mouse wheel. You can tell I've been playing other games. And finishing off his berries there, and so this is another plan of a good play. You can see the fact that they just have so many income of different types of food. He still has his berries this late into the game. That's crazy. Viper's still on his berries as well. So there you go. It's always good to split up your villages and get as many sources of income as possible. That's the best way you can go about it. So will we see another town center from Viper on this gold? That's what I'm interested to see. He's got the 4 still going up. We're currently on 37 population for Viper. Chris on 40, so he's up by 3 at this stage. But remember, he only has the 3 town centers. And Viper's either going to be able to go up and get that extra tech if he hasn't got wheelbarrow yet. I would be surprised actually if he doesn't have wheelbarrow. Actually, I might put on this just so we can see all the upgrades they get just for now. Just because it should be helpful, so we can see when they get all their tech upgrades if they haven't got them already. So, what are we seeing here? So, there we go. So, Chris is going over to stone now. He's going to try and get that extra town center up. Always can as well. Buy that little bit of extra stone if you need to. It's always worth having that extra stone for a town center if you're booming like this. Because if we look at the middle right now, Viper's got his house wall up, and as long as Chris knows that wall's there in place, if that wall goes up, essentially it means he can tell that his opponent's going to be booming. And when you know that, it means you're pretty much safe to boom yourself. So, only thing is though, if they trick you into that, they start booming and they go straight up into Castle Age. They start booming and they just go straight into units and absolutely just smash down, come in with a few rams, and you're screwed because you have no military buildings whatsoever at this point. In fact, I don't believe either player has any military buildings at this stage, so if one of them was just to come in with siege rams now, well, not siege rams, but rams and a few archers, there'd be a lot of pressure coming in. I'd say that. However, naturally, it's not going to help. So heavy plow just being done for Chris now at 21 minutes, which isn't a bad time, because naturally he is trying to spend all his resources on villages as well as farms. And here's something you don't see as well a lot. Actually, lots of commentators don't go into this, but the macro ability, as you can see, he's not queuing insane amounts of villages. He's got resources there for researchers, and he's still trying to keep just 1 queue to every town center. This way, he has this resources up here for researchers, and he can just dart around and quickly queue them up. So that's another thing as well, which comes down to good macro play, not keeping just a massive amount of villages queued, because you want to be able to use that resources that isn't being used at this current moment for as much as possible. It'll just allow you to get that tech up a lot as possible. So if you take anything out of this game, it's don't just absurdly queue villages up, and I'm stuttering there like crazy. So don't obsessively queue villages just because of the fact you have that food there. Remember, you got a lot of upgrades and things you can do at this stage, so that's up to you on really what you want to do about it. And handcart only just being done, which is really interesting, but when you go for a boom as well, I usually get handcart late as well, because I would rather have that extra village there. I know it will help with pretty much everything, but it's nice to have it. So I'm going to turn this back off because it's going to start getting in my way. And we see Chris going down with his first castle now. His first military building, I believe, without a doubt. So he's going to be able to keep that quite well. And the other thing about Black Forest is as well, it's always, next to always, played on Explore. So you've got to be careful as well when you're setting it, because sometimes people come in there like, oh, it should be explored, and you're like, no, it shouldn't be, etc, etc. I'm really just trying to figure out things to talk about right now, because we're actually seeing massive booms from both players. We have Chris on 100 there, and we see Viper on 5 town centers. I believe Chris did go up to 1, 2, 3, 4 town centers. And there's that Siege Workshop going up, because he's going Imperial, and he wants to get those Siege Onagers as quick as possible, as well as getting up those Siege Rams. Castle going up in this area here, good defensive location. Lots of people only build them on the front, but you've got to remember as well, since both players are playing as Celts, they can get the Paladins. I believe they get everything on them except Bloodlines. But they could just run in here and start gutting your economy. Especially with Black Forest when it's possible to cut through areas like this. You need to have a castle defense or just other defensive buildings or just defensive wall-offs made in your economy area. Because if they just decide to run straight through into there, especially in team games, if they just do a run by it, you'll be in a lot of trouble. So Viper going up with his stone wall now. Chris already got his stone up. 2 defensive gates there from Chris. That's actually pretty much a Chris thing. He walls a lot with gates, which is really interesting to see. Even when he's getting pushed in on, instead of chucking down a chunk of walls, he'll just chuck down a gate. So it's really interesting. Viper already up in Imp, so let's have a look at what they've got. We've got 2 siege workshops there. We've got 2 castles for Viper. And that looks like about it. However, he has expanded over to the Skull here, putting up outposts around this area here. Very smart play, always do that when you can, just because of the fact you can see if your opponent's cutting through with Onigas. It's so helpful. So, let's have a look what we got. And Oniga research being done already. Chain mail armor for these Road Raiders. We are going to see that. Let's check on what Viper's doing. Oniga research already done. Siege Oniga, is there another one about? Might be worth actually keeping this on just for a bit. But guilds being done as well, because that's going to be really important when it comes down to those chemistry as well, so that's going to affect the siege Onigas. And this Oniga coming through might be able to get some kids out. Because if this one here could probably kill at least 2 or 3 if he really goes into it. However, right now, Viper's been able to kill off this area here, and that outpost there's still going to show him, well, Chris, a lot of what's going on. And I'm going to pause it right now just before that gets killed. So you can see just how insane the line of vision is. Or you can't, because this was played and explored, and I haven't got the update for that yet. Which is bad, I'll need to get that straight after this game. So let's turn this information off, because we don't care at this point. Chris, have you gone for Siege Oniga? Yes. Siege Oniga being done. Remember, Siege Oniga is a very, very expensive technology to research. I think it's like 1,450 gold off the top of my head. Siege Oniga being done for the Viper as well. Lots of amounts of infantry like this is going to be just absolutely instrumental. Sorry for that pause, but I really needed a drink right now. So, Siege Onigas for both players. We've got these infantry masses, and of course, when you have mass Siege Oniga, you can absolutely destroy mass infantry like this. However, Warrior Raiders are a very fast infantry, and you've got to be careful about that, because they can run in and kill off these Onigas extremely quickly. Especially since they have pretty decent armor, starting off with that plus, well, that 1 pierce, which means, in turn, they're going to be pretty decent against Castle Fire and things like that, and Siege Workshop going up here, most likely just delay, in my opinion. But here we go. Choke has been expanded on Viper's side here, because he doesn't want to get all this infantry here caught. And the thing is with Siege Onigas as well, I'm going to start slowing this down, just the amount of damage here done by Siege Onigas is freaking crazy. I love them, probably one of my favourite units, especially as Koreans, they just absolutely dominate. So, losing a few Onigas there, however, lots of Warrior Raiders being taken down in a little fight there. Trebuchet fire going into this castle, which is natural in Black Forest, you will get lost in it. However, they do have nothing defending them right now, so those Warrior Raiders are just going to be able to go to town on them, and we've got to remember, Trebuchets are a really expensive unit. 200 wood, 200 gold. 200 wood not so expensive on a map like Black Forest, just because there's forests everywhere. But 200 gold, that is a lot to lose. 400 gold right there. And you got to remember as well, Siege Onigas as well just cost 135 gold each off the top of my head. Of course, I could be wrong. And this castle up here going to prove pretty valuable just because it's on this high ground here, which as we know means it's going to take less damage from siege, especially trebuchets, and it's going to deal more damage to anything coming this way. So these are Warrior Raiders will be taking bonus damage there, and that's going to mean a lot more. So currently at 36 minutes, and we've only really just started the fighting. So it's going to come down to at the moment who has the better economy, honestly, just because they're going to be needing to trade off so much of those resources for gold. Hence the reason guilds was so important. And we can see actually at the moment Viper taking quite a large score leader of 1,100 points, which is always quite a lot to have. So let's speed this up quickly. And Onigas, and a miss there by a bit. Now we can see as well, Chris hasn't got chemistry. I know it doesn't do a lot, like if we look at the Siege Onigas, plus 1 attack, that's not a lot. But as well as another thing, Viper's actually already got unique tech for Calc, which I think is 50% more hit points on siege weapons, which is really important. It means that if it becomes an Oniga trade and they both fire at the same time, both hit each other, Viper's Oniga will survive that encounter. Just, well, 90% of the time. I've never really seen one get killed off with that high. But just Celtic Siege is so amazing, just because that added hit points, including their rams. Their rams are freaking ridiculous when it comes to it. Siege rams just do so much much damage. Another good Onager hit there, actually. However, these ones are slowly catching up here. And right now we're just seeing, it's like this in most Black Forest maps, honestly. It's pretty stale. There's just a big fight to control this area here, because once you control this, well, this area here, it means that you can start pushing into your opponent's base. So naturally your opponent's going to put everything they have into holding this area here. Because if they lose that, it's pretty much a good game. So while we're waiting here, let's speed this up a bit. Trebuchet Fire, natural, we have the Siege Onagers. There we go, so Chris finally getting that there, which means it's going to be more of an even trade now if it comes down to it. And looks like we're about to see an engagement here. And killing off some guys there. Doesn't look like he got too much. And that was a big hit there from Viper. This is just absolutely crucial. These Onager hits at the moment, they just soak up those gold. Because you gotta remember, Wood Raiders do cost gold. Don't remember how much just off the top of my head. But every time you lose on Siege Onager Fire, you use like 5 or 6. And that's important. So here we go as well. That was me saying as well how important it is to get that upgrade on the health. Just because we did actually see that Siege Onager had to shoot twice to kill those ones off there. And that is definitely worth it. And see there we go, absorbing that damage there. And keeping Siege Onagers stacked like this, like, it's not a bad thing, but if one Onager, and you have lower HP on them of course, but if one Onager comes in and just hits them, you're in a lot of trouble. Viper killing off a lot of his own units there, however. And here we go, Onager. Boom, losing that one there. Viper's still looking like he's fairly in control there. Still up by about 1,000 points, but naturally the points don't mean a lot. Chris could still absolutely just splash through here with heaps of Onager Fire and just absolutely destroy everything, getting some fire on those guys there. More elite Woad Raiders coming in, however these Onagers are going to be able to get some damage on them if Chris isn't careful. And there we go, so seeing the staggered formation there, at least it looks like staggered to me. So naturally that's going to help resist those Siege Onager Fire a little bit better, just because it's not going to be so much, because the area of effect is still the same size, it just spreads the units out a lot more. And then we go from Viper, seeing that Trebuchet, and good there, Viper actually microing those Onagers quite well. Trebuchet Fire coming out down over here now, that's going to be really important, because naturally he can pin his opponent down with these Onagers and these elite Woad Raiders, but it still means he's not able to get up and get some damage on those buildings. So when it comes to this, that Trebuchet that's going to have that 16 range, going to be absolutely great to have here. And only thing that I think the Celts seem to be really missing is Siege Engineers. I don't think they get it, which is pretty much a bugger, because they get great Paladins just minus Bloodlines, they get great Siege minus Siege Engineers, so it's kind of a double-bladed sword. They are a great civilization, but they are missing a few of those key technologies. But of course, having those technologies there like that, it would just make them so overpowered, it would be crazy. But here comes Chris, pushing up really well actually, getting some fire on that Trebuchet, trying to take that out, and that Siege could be in trouble, just keeping it up there without too much effort. And Viper losing a lot of army right here, actually being pushed back really well by Chris. Chris doing a very efficient push right here. He's actually lost pretty much minimal units compared to Viper, who lost quite a lot of Onagers and Trebuchets in this area over here. And I just heard the town bell somewhere, and see, the resources are still really high, which is interesting, because on this map you can see there has been so much fighting. The resources are still really high, which is something you don't see a lot. And those Onagers there actually absolutely cutting down those just Woad Raiders. I'm surprised how well they got cut down there. But again, Woad Raider, Onager, you don't need to be a genius to tell who gets the better off on that trade. No more Trebuchets for Chris though, however, so he's going to find it hard to push up against these castles, especially because Viper's got the 4 here. Being advancing with Trebuchets is going to be a lot harder, because they're not all different lengths apart. It means he's not going to be able to go, alright, bang, 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 bang. It means he's going to actually have to move forward, and when Trebuchets are moving, we know they are extremely susceptible to attack. So that's probably going to be the best option here. However, Chris having this high ground castles over here, it's just going to be absolutely great for his defense if Viper starts to push in a bit, because it is going to get those bonus damage on those Woad Raiders as well, like I've already stated. It's going to get that bonus, well, shield, I guess I could call it, from Trebuchet Fire, which is great. So right now, more and more Onager Fire coming in. Chris coming in with even more Woad Raiders. At the moment, it's just going to come down. I wonder what the market rates are at, actually. And we've got food. You can buy it for 74. Wood you can buy it for 48. Sell food for 54. Sell wood for 36. So naturally, there's been a lot of trading going on as well. Both ways, it looks like, actually. And looks like that Oniga's going to go down. 135 gold in the toilet. And this one here going to just survive by the looks of it. And there we go. So we see Chris starting to mass up some trebuchets, which is always a good plan. Especially with this castle here. It's only on 2,100 hit points, which is absolutely great. It means it's going to be able to get that damage. The other thing that both players haven't done yet, they haven't actually... Chris has got the +1 fletching, but you can see that Viper hasn't got any of the range upgrades on his castle. Perfectly normal, considering he hasn't gone for any range units. So there's nothing wrong with that at all at this stage in the game. And we're seeing here, trebuchets. Could lose this Oniga potentially, and doesn't look like... I thought that might have killed off a lot more of his own units. He definitely lucked out with that one there. And Oniga going down yet again. Chris doing it really well at just darting in here and killing off the expensive units. Because like anything, you always want to aim for the expensive units, just because that's the thing that's going to hurt your opponent more. If you have the choice between taking out, I don't know, like 4 Woad Raiders and a Trebuchet, pretty even trade, but that Trebuchet is still a very valuable unit. It takes a long time to create when you compare it to Woad Raiders. So definitely go with the Trebuchet if you only have the choice of killing off those 4 Woads. Trebuchet. So, at the moment, not a lot. Both players just preparing for the next big push from each of them. Viper looks like he's going to be moving out right about now. He's getting those Siege Onigas out. He's going to be able to try and push off as much as possible. But with Viper running quite low on gold right now, and since we've got this chance, let's just go swap over to Chris. Chris extremely low in resources there. 55 gold. And it looks like he's got next to no income whatsoever. However, he could be trading off there at that market, which we no doubt that he has. Just right there, actually. If I can kill that off, that could be quite helpful, actually, because it'd force him to put up another market before he can actually do that. So some trebuchet fire on that market could be invaluable right now, especially considering he's only got the one. But of course, that's all opinionated, and it's my opinion, so it's not really as valid as any pro players would be. So right now, Oniga is being used to try and kill it. However, Chris doing really well there at pulling Viper into the line of his own fire, and cutting that one off there quite quickly, losing that one there. And these Woads over here could be in a lot of trouble if Viper starts to attack around with these guys. Because if he predicts where they're going to be, there's going to be a lot of damage done right now. And Chris is starting to run a bit low. Oh, that's another big one there for Viper. Viper having some magnificent Oniga shots in this game so far. And looks like Viper's going to win this fight pretty easily, honestly. Over that Trebuchet, not Trebuchet, that Oniga fire there is going to really even it up for Chris. Jeez, that was not helpful there. That's the thing with Onigas as well. You've got to be careful with them when you're using them for your own units. There's currently only 700 points difference. Viper is on 16,000 now. Chris on 15,500. So the scores are really close right now. Ridiculously close. You cannot tell who's going to win. In my opinion, Viper has been having a few better trades, but apart from that, not a lot else. So let's speed this up while we wait for the next big engagement. And a few Woads walking in there. Could have been just because they were on aggressive stance. Viper pulling them back there. A few more Onigas out for Viper. Looks like Chris has stopped producing so much siege. Scorpions as well are a good idea versus Woad Raiders and just other infantry in general. But when your opponent's got so many Onigas out in the field, just Scorpions are absolutely destroyed and just absolutely just dismantled by Oniga fire. Just one of them will just definitely take him out. However, with the Celtic Elite tech, of course that's going to be a little bit different. I think it'll probably take 2 hits to kill them off. But still, they are going to be pretty useless when up against Onigas like this, especially without that range upgrade which you get from Siege Engineers. So just clarifying that for anyone who's like, they're all using Woad Raiders, why aren't they using Scorpions? There's the reason. They get killed off too easy by Onigas and they're lacking Siege Engineers. Of course, however, with Celt, you do see lots of people in big random map games. I've just seen people absolutely mass Scorpions. And there we go as well. Something interesting from Viper, walling this section here off, because having these 2 chokes here just was not nice. They were able to run into here and get to his economy too easy. So we walled that off and created this separate choke here, which is absolutely great when you can do that. When you can control the choke points on a map, it's just absolutely fantastic. Losing some units there. Looks like a few more getting some battle scars off that. Currently 50 minutes into the game, and both players are looking pretty strong. 191 pop for Chris, 185 for Viper, so they are both looking extremely strong. Lots of resources up, as you can see by these bases. And I might see another engagement here. Looks like Viper actually lost that Oniga. And losing one there for Chris from that Oniga fire, however, returning the favour with that one there. Currently only 400 points different, so there is so close right now. And there we go, getting this choke point here, completely open. These villagers are exposed. However, Viper is moving in with these guys here, and Chris forced to withdraw because he knows if he gets caught in this area here, he is going to be absolutely ripped to shreds by these Wood Raiders, especially because if they try to get out, these ones will have the heal bonus. And here we go for Chris. 600 points in the difference. 400 now. Trebuchet fire definitely available. And that Woad Raider actually getting a surprising amount of hits on that one there. I'm very surprised. And here we go, Viper going in for another attack. This could be it for Chris, honestly. Just does not have that siege supporting these. Viper looks like he's outnumbering by quite a bit right now. And need more siege weapons from Viper. This Trebuchet here being the only siege weapon in the battlefield, believe it or not. And Viper absolutely winning that fight there way too easily. And it looks like right now, any siege. We have siege weapons. And capped rams being created, which means we're most likely going to see the siege ram upgrade very, very shortly. Siege ram upgrade there, mainly just because it costs food and it's so cheap like that. Seeing some more Onagers being produced from Chris, we actually see that Trebuchet making it out of there. However, one Onager will not make too much of a difference. And here we go. Capped rams going up to siege. 60% Chris. Gonna have to come up with something to do here. Walling this section here, very, very smart as well. Means those Woads can't just run into here. And naturally, 300 hit points on those capped rams. That is crazy. And here we go. Ooh, Viper taking a lot of hits there. That's going to severely weaken his army and allow Chris to just pick off those units so much quicker. Siege ram upgrade done it there. 405 hit points on those. You've got to remember, with that Celtic tech, it makes them so much more powerful. Just because they're able to soak up so much more damage. And losing these rams as well, remember rams are quite expensive as well. Well, not ridiculously expensive, but when it comes down to a situation like this, and you're trading for all the gold you can, that's really, really expensive trades to do. And losing a 200 gold trebuchet there, that castle is going to stand. That castle being absolutely just... Chris needed that. If Chris did not have that, Viper would have been in on his economy so much earlier, as we saw by the fact he had to pull back so much earlier. And Chris going for this trebuchet here, he knows how valuable that castle is, and he just does not want it to go down. More rams being created here. Do we have any being created back? We do not, but we do have that one ram up here, which is going to be able to start doing some serious damage to those villagers. Not villagers, buildings, sorry. We are 55 minutes into the game, and it looks like Viper is starting to take a lead here. He's up by 2,000 points right now, and still no more rams being created, which is interesting enough. There we go, actually. Got 4 being produced right there. This could be the end of Chris. If Chris doesn't have any Onagers back, or just does not have enough of these elite Woad Raiders, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Viper, they're doing the smart thing as well, pulling that ram back, because at this stage, everything that costs gold is worth it so much. I'm surprised we haven't seen either player going into halberdiers or elite skirmishers yet, just due to the fact they're so low on resources, and they've got that little bit of extra pop they can make up. I wonder what Chris is on population-wise. Chris is only on 180 now, so this is definitely going to be starting to go the way of the Viper. It's got another 20 population on Chris, which of course is, at this stage of the game, is really important to have that extra population. Which is why Goths, with that extra 10, doesn't seem like a lot, but it's actually so good to have available. It either allows you to have that bigger military count, or that higher ego count, which is just absolutely great to have. Siege rams at the moment coming in for Viper, and this could be the end of Chris, if I am not mistaken. These Woad Raiders here are going to be going to town on these rams, but remember they have 405 hit points, which is a hell of a lot. And right now, rams coming up to this castle. However, they can be picked up quite quickly by these Woad Raiders, and more Woads over here, and looks like Chris is going to get taken out here. And we have damage on this castle. Woad Raiders taking these guys out. However, this castle is going to start taking a lot more damage, especially when these Woad Raiders get up here from Viper and start clearing out the ones up here, which is stopping all this destruction. More rams. I need to swap over. We have more rams on the way. We don't. No more rams. More rams than these ones, actually, and they are obviously getting sent straight up here onto the castle. Yes, that is happening. Chris trying to repair this castle because he knows how crucial it is to his survival right now. Currently only 1,500 points different. It has been Viper on top for a long time now. However, the score has been fluctuating quite a lot between the player differences. And Viper, having to retreat off there, wants to get those rams up again just before he can get this one up. How much stone are we on for Chris right now? I want to know his stone count. Chris, 135. Most likely all of it is going to be used up on the rest of this castle here. And not a lot else to talk about right now. We're just waiting for one person to just break through the other person's defenses. Chris coming in with all Word Raiders, which again isn't that bad because we are losing quite a few Onager in our Onager count so far. No Onagers for either player right now. Let's just swap over to Viper. No Rams being produced actually. We do have 3 trebuchets though. This is a big deal, especially at this stage of the game. Those trebuchets are going to be so hard to get rid of. And that castle there just being repaired by the looks of it. And here we go. About to see the final push by the looks of it. Especially if Viper manages to keep these Onagers, because these Onagers are going to be able to do so much damage from that range that they have. And it means it's going to have a lot of trouble getting in there, especially if he targets the trebuchets with the elite wards. It means they're going to get killed off pretty quickly by Vipers. But still, here we go. Here is the engagement. Looks like he is going for those trebuchets. And Viper missing these crucial ones that come through here. And here we go. Could be the final edge of the game here if Viper loses these trebuchets. Looks like they are all going to go down. Oh no. That was a lot of gold spent there. A lot of saving. The amount of siege rams that we got from that could have been a lot more helpful. However, losing those trebuchets like that, that is really going to hurt. We do have a Siege Onager out for Viper, something we haven't seen in quite a while. The Siege Onager are going to be able to do a great amount of damage to mass units, as well as taking out villages extremely well. We do see Chris trying to put up more Siege Workshops, so it would say to me that he wants to get more Onagers out as well. Could even be going for those Rams. In fact, let's see what he's actually doing with them. It could just be stalling buildings by the looks of it, honestly. Forcing Viper to go through them before he comes down to this castle. And that looks like it's going to be that way. Another Onager out for Viper right now. Let's swap back to Viper quickly. Currently an hour into this game and they're still just fighting in this center area over here. Viper definitely has taken control of this choke area here and pushed out into Chris's base, but still he's not managing to get in. He's just sitting here right on the edge of it and not going to be able to do enough damage. Surprised he actually hasn't taken some Rams here and just tried to run in and just take him out by a pure harassment. But, you know, if he does that, Chris can run straight into his base. So, you know, it makes sense. And there's this fire on that castle. Yes, we have Trebuchet fire on the castle right now. We have Siege Onagers ready to start engaging these units here. And, oh, that was a great attack ground there. Going to be able to put a massive amount of damage on those guys to start with. And it looks like this Trebuchet may make it out. This Onager, however, not going to be quite so happy. And Trebuchet going down. Bugger. And more Onager fire there from Chris, however, getting that taken out quite quickly. Viper definitely on the ball right here. And Siege Ram transition to Viper, which is always a smart plan, just because he can get in that little bit earlier. But it means these elite warriors are going to be able to take them out, and of course they are expensive. Siege Rams are expensive at this point of the game. In fact, everything at this stage of the game is expensive. And let's just have a look at the amount of wood Viper's used up. He's used up all this along the side here, and he's had to pull out. Chris, as well, used up all the wood along here, which is interesting. I just love seeing that. So I believe there was actually like a 4-hour game that was played, and there was just no wood left on the map, and one team won just because they had more wood on their half. And I just found that so amusing, just that it came down to just complete map control. One trying to take out that Onager there, however that is not going to happen. Actually, it looks like it was 2. Not going to happen. Siege Ram there from Viper, another Siege Ram there, and another one there. This could be the final push, guys. Chris does not have enough to defend this, and look at this, coming in through this side here. However, quick wall off there from Chris, actually, very well played. And that village is going to get it. No, and one shot on that Onager, if he can get another one off. And it looks like he's not going to make it. And it's going to be trade. Yes! Viper keeps his intact, well, Chris loses his. And what are we going to see here? Viper are going to go forward. We do see the Siege Ram train headed in. But going to have to keep these very well defended. Because these Void Raiders, like I've been saying all game, are going to be able to take out the Rams before they can do significant damage if he sends them up here by themselves. But naturally as well, moving these Void Raiders up to defend, it means this castle is going to have that attack bonus on there. And Viper still with no upgrades on his castles at all, which again is no problem with that. And here we go, these Siege Rams are getting in here. Viper does look like he's going to be able to win this fight here, just due to the fact he has more units. And Siege Onager being made as well. See, these Rams are getting in here right now. It looks like Viper does have a shot at taking out this castle right now. He's got 2 Rams headed up there. Chris has no Road Raiders up in the area. Saying that, he's just brought 5, 6 in. And Viper defending these Rams right now as if they were the only thing left he has. And that both Rams going down. Oh, that is going to hurt right now. Over Viper's in right now, and he's going to be doing as much damage as possible. Over these, just castle fire from here, as you can see, kind of in a trench here. That castle fire on those roads is going to be it's going to be able to do so much damage. However, Viper's continuing this push in, and he is in. He's bringing the Siege Ram in. He's got a Siege Onager. He's got 3 extra Rams coming in from the back. And right now, Chris does not have a lot he can do. He's got minimal units here. These Road Raiders starting to go to town on this castle. And Ram being brought in. If he can hold it off while this Ram manages to sit here and just chip away at this castle, it's going to be a good game. And Chris, what are you going to do? Rams coming up from the back. And more, and this could be a good game for Chris right now. Too many Road Raiders up here for him to be able to take out these Siege Rams. Siege Rams with too many HP, and this castle is just going to be absolutely destroyed right now. Let's speed this up and watch this castle go down. However, we do have another big amount of Road Raiders actually coming in here from Chris. However, it's not going to be enough to keep this castle up. And there we go, Viper is in! He has got control of this base here. However, there's not going to be a lot Chris can do to defend it. This looks like good games to me, folks. And large engagement here between the Road Raiders. Always hard to see when they have this amount of units like this. They're the same. And it looks like Viper's going to come out on top here. Yes, he is. And Ram's moving up yet again, going to be able to take out the next castle in line, then the next one. And I wouldn't be surprised if Chris throws in the towel anytime soon right now. Viper's still only up by 1,600 points, which isn't a lot for this stage of the game, the amount of damage it's done. However, still, managed to keep the pressure on like this the whole game has just been great. Both players playing an extremely good game. This game here was extremely good. I think it came down to, and there's the good game from Chris. And I will see you guys in the next game as soon as Chris actually resigns. And there we go. So I hope you guys like this game. It's not all the time you see a Black Forest game like this being put on YouTube. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll see you in the next video.